My wife drove on run flats flat for like a week. Until I got her Mercedes, and I was like, this shit is not supposed to be, the air pressure is supposed to be this low. And she's, oh, I just was gonna put air in it. I go, no, it's like literally at 0% air pressure.
Well, I was driving and I was watching it. It went like 40, 42, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, and it went all the way down to 1. I was like, fuck just happened.
You need a man in your life.
Hey, we live though. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in right now.
Also, if someone wants to put my license plates on my car.
Hey, Amorous needs some help with the Mercedes, but we're here with the legend, as he's known by, or I call him. Hi, Tone. Thank you so much for coming.
Ooh,
hey, all day,
Toast.
baby.
Cheers.
Cheers. He would be drinking, but he's responsible. He has to tattoo later, so anyone that is getting tatted after him,
he's responsible.
He's responsible.
Yes. For once in my life.
They're like, all of a sudden, he's responsible.
Now, this conversation has been a long time coming. I opened my facility in West Covina, 2019, and one of the first people to put me on the map, put the gym on the map, was you. And I'm always appreciative of that, but I'm also such a big fan of you because, you know, you didn't know me. You didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You just know I was trying to bring something good to the community.
Yeah.
And you were the first person to jump on board. So.
And is that why you have the pyramid?
That's why we have the pyramid. Yeah. So.
And I mean,
good
just
to know. There we go.
Just the way you know, thank me for that. I thank you for allowing me to do that too. You know, because there's a lot of people doing things, and a lot of people in the city, you know, have brands and things like that. But you know, for you to give me that opportunity too, it was a blessing as well on my end. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I was getting people. First of all, some people were hating. They're like, "Oh, you're stealing Tone's logo," and like, he would have to chime in on Instagram, like, "Nah, dude, it's all good." Like,
it's a collab.
I know.
It's a collab.
I was like, bro, I tagged them in this, but no, I mean,
that's dope.
That was a huge blessing. I mean, you brought a lot of eyes to us, and then any events we have, you've always been there. So for me, I've always been a fan of not only the music, but for all the things you do in the community, you know? So I kind of want to start from like the total beginning, and I don't want this to be like a typical cliche, tell us your story, but...
Especially because I know you.
Yeah,
You're like
yeah.
my brother.
So you know it all, but for the people listening, like, how did you get into music? How did you get into tattooing? Did they serve each other in the purpose of the way up, or tell me the High Tone story.
I mean,
or yeah, we could start with, because you started with music before tattooing, right?
Yeah.
So how did you start getting, like, what inspired you with music?
I mean, I think that's a question I think all artists get asked, because it's like you start somewhere. Mm-hmm. I think when it comes to music, to me, I feel like it's something you're born with. You can't really, I guess you can, you know, artists develop like somebody and make them into some, but it's not going to last very long.
Yeah.
So for someone doing it for over a decade, and you know it, they were born with that passion. And I feel like I was just always good at putting words together, whether I didn't know if it was music or a rap verse or a, you know, a song.
Poetry.
It was just poetry. And the poetry turns into music. And then the music turns into your passion, and then your passion turns into your life and dream, you know? So I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I just think it was something I was born with, bro. And I just gradually continued to grow, because when you do love something, you chase it no matter what. No matter who tells you you're not good enough, you're not built for this, you're never gonna make it. If you love it, none of that outside gossip or chatter matters to you at all. And you might never be who you think you were gonna be, but you're never gonna quit. Yeah. Because you love it, you know?
I love that. Did you get a lot of that coming into, you know, starting music? Was there a lot of people that were like, why the fuck are you doing music? Or people that were maybe in the rap game kind of giving you a hard time? Or were you pretty like...
I think back when I started, it was different. Like, you didn't really have people talking shit on trolling like Instagram. The only people talking shit was really World Star Hip Hop. And to be on World Star Hip Hop at that time, you had to pay money to get on their site. You know?
I remember before I even knew who you were or knew anything, I would just see this like van driving around. It was like the Generals. It was like you and your cousin, and you had the cornrows on, and they were on the...
See, people don't realize...
I knew, like, and I was young at the time. That was even before I knew. So that was like 2000 and like
2000.
3, 4,
yeah, like 3 and 4.
A long time ago.
So back then, we took marketing before this Instagram and social media stuff. Like, we really bought 5-6 trucks, like Yukons, Denali's, Suburbans, vans, and we wrapped them before anybody had any rapping business, before anybody even knew what a rap was. We were like, how could we get our name out? How could we show people that we're from here and we're doing something big? So we wrapped the cars, and we had 10 people driving around the city all day.
Just driving around,
Just because it's like a moving billboard.
Right.
And I feel like that was pretty genius at the time, because nobody really was doing that. You know, the only type of marketing you could get like that was a billboard on the freeway, which I don't know if we had the budget for that, the resources for that. That's kind of next level, like, business, you know, like, let's get on the billboard freeway.
And now a billboard's like,
and you were so young at the
give them
time
away
too.
to you.
Yeah.
So it's just always about finding ways to put yourself out there. That's it. Just like what you're doing, We're doing this podcast because people have stories. You want to get people's brands out. You want to show them what people are doing. And that's really all it comes down to, is how could you make people aware of your talent, your love, your passion, and what you do.
So what would you say is like your biggest inspiration with doing music? Because obviously you've been doing it for so long, and years later you're still continuing, like you're still doing it, but you're tattooing, you have your other stuff on the side. But what keeps you going, and what continues to inspire you with your music and everything in that area?
I think music is weird because it might sound very like scary and depressing, but like without music, I just don't feel like I'm alive. You know, I feel like when I stop it, like, and I've even tried to, like, hey, I'm getting older, like I've already built a good core following, like I have my, businesses, and I have my hands in a lot of things, like maybe this is just this time, and the minute I stop it, I start to feel angry. I start to feel sad. I start to feel like I lost me, and it is a sad thing, because to think that something has that much of a grab on you, it's scary. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I think I just love it so much. And I just think that if I stop it, I just feel like I let my people down. I let myself down. I let everybody that ever believed in TFC down.
And I think that's true. I think that there's so much beauty in your music. It's like you're considered more of like an independent artist, right? But I feel like if you've been to one of High Tone's concerts, you see that his fans there, like they know every single lyric. Like they're singing everything, but it just goes to show like your music really does inspire people. So like they're waiting for you. And I think that's great, like to see you continuously doing it, because you really are inspiring so many people with your words, and it's relatable,
Yeah. And I think back to the original question is, what inspires me also, not only my fear of losing myself, but what it does for people. Because if I do have a show once a year, and these people know what they're gonna get when they come, they know they're gonna get something they were missing for that year. Like, love is in the building. Joy is in the building. Hard work was in the building. The failures you felt like turn into wins at that moment. Like, that's what it is. And that's what continues to inspire me, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is, and it's always been for me, is like to see people from the neighborhood that have come up and do something, right? Like, I think people see that what you started off doing with the Yukons and advertising, to see where you're at now, and it makes them feel like a part of something, right? Like, people have been a part of your journey for how long now? Like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So like Amara was saying, she remembers the Yukon days driving around. There's people like her that are like listening to this, that like, dude, I remember singing that shit when I was getting out of high school or whatever. To see where you are now, like now you're married, you built other businesses, you're doing tattooing. So like you said, like you're good, but it's always good for, I think, kids or even young adults like myself to really see that like come to full circle.
And it ain't pretty. I mean, going back to the Yukon, like all them cars were put in my name as a kid, because they were like, if this doesn't work, he's young, his credit don't matter. So I mean, I had to file bankruptcy, because when the deal went weird at Warner, and I wasn't really at that label no more, in that group no more, it was like, why are we paying $300-400 on these cars when the group ain't around? And so people don't realize the other side of it. They
the
just
ugly.
see, oh yeah, you were here, now you're here, and there's this blurry, like invisible area that nobody gets to really know but you.
Right.
And it's only the ones that are able to like withstand those in between days are able to sit here and go, it was worth it, you know, because I did it. I fell, I got up. There was a bump, I jumped over it. It makes you stronger when you fall and get back up. And people don't really know that, and they need to know it ain't.
Damn,
it ain't
I love
pretty.
that.
Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, everybody probably is like so quick, like, oh yeah, you started here and now you're here, but you don't know all the shit. Like, what's some of the hardest things you feel you had to go through just to keep going? Like, whether it be naysayers, but I think we touched on that,
or even
I think
relationships,
friends,
like everything.
When you are tunnel visioned and when you have a dream and you're going so hard for it, you don't realize like the people you're hurting, maybe the people you're ignoring. You may look selfish at times. You may look like the bad guy, you know, but you weren't purposely doing that. But along that way, you're losing friends. You're losing a lot of things that meant so much to you because they don't understand how important it was to you. So you could be in business together. You can be like, Tone, I believe in your music. You're an amazing artist. I'll help you. I'll fund your next album. I'll do all this, right? But if you don't really have the dream and you're just doing it because you fuck with me, that's gonna end sometime because you can only do it for so long without seeing money, without seeing profit, without seeing growth, without seeing awareness. You're gonna be like, oh, this ain't working. I'm gonna keep doing it because it was my dream. So that's where the relationships fall off.
And
because
then was there ever a time where you feel like that people felt, I don't know, like, or maybe people betrayed you
as
in that going up? Like, do you ever feel like people just got like envious of you? Did you ever experience that?
I think everybody does. I think you do. I think he does. I think I do. I think the whole world does. Like, there's so many people that don't want to work.
Which is why I asked, because everybody experiences
for the things that you have and the persona you have on social media that they're instantly jealous.
And how do you deal with that?
You ignore it. I'm
Facts,
a big advocate of ignoring the drama, staying in my lane, focusing on me, because the minute you go like that, you fall on your treadmill because you're so worried about what shoes he's wearing on his treadmill that you fall on yours. It's like you have to be like this. You still have to sit back sometimes and go, okay, and go with the flow.
Of course.
And understand your next moves like chess, but you can't worry about the drama, the gossip, the people that you can't.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to realize that, though? I mean, or are you saying from the jump you started, like you've always had that mindset? Because your mindset right now is crazy, bro. Like I respect you more for the businessman you are, even just the way you speak. That applies to business, no matter if you have a gym, a juice bar, a fucking tattoo shop. So your mindset's it's already sharp. Your business. Like, how long did it take you to build that kind of mindset?
I mean, I think it takes years to get there. I don't think I'm even close to where I need to be or want to be or should be, but it's all about growth. But there's something in you where if you're a very confrontational person, it's going to take you way longer to get to this mind state. If you're a very angry person, you're going to jump at every comment. You're going to jump at everything I'm very opposite of that. I don't want no problems. Bro, you don't like me? I don't give a fuck. That's cool, bro. Like, figure out why you don't like me, and I don't even need to know why you don't like me.
Right.
You figure that out on your own.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're like that, it's easier to be like this. But some people are not that way, and it's going to take them a long time, a lot of things to happen to you that make you go, man, maybe I have to grow up, because your reaction to things is everything. You have the choice. You can't blame that on anybody else. If someone cuts you off on the road, you have two choices. You can sit back and go, this guy's a fucking idiot, or you can get next to him and tell him he's a fucking idiot. You get me?
Yeah.
So it's how are you going to react to things? And when you learn how to react to things is when I feel like your life becomes better, not just in business, in your relationship, friendships, everything.
I feel like everybody has like a low point, like a point in life where it's just like you hit rock bottom and low, and it's either like you feel like giving up, or there's something that happens where it picks you up and you keep on going. Was there ever a time in your life, and if there was, what was it that you feel like you may have hit rock bottom, or you felt like giving up, but then you just like got yourself back up and kept going?
I feel like there's been
A lot.
a lot of those times, man. Like, I mean, when you're an artist, you have these expectations. And every song you make, you really feel like it's going to be the next biggest song. And then you have labels involved, and you have budgets. And then they're projecting, oh, this is good. The radio's going to love this. You're doing so. Then all of a sudden the song comes out and it's a flop. But it's a flop because you set the expectations so high. And when you do that, you're almost setting yourself up for failure because you think you're just going to get lucky and it's going to be the one. But after 10, 20, 30 times of that cutting you down, it's really going to show you how much you love it or you don't, because you're going to quit if not.
Yeah.
You open up 10 businesses, 10 fail, I guarantee you. Only the one that's really going to succeed is going to try it 11 times. Most quit right away.
Yeah.
They can't handle it. You know, so I've been at lows. I've been at lows with drug use. When I did NXN for the first time in 2016, like, I feel like I was using drugs, partying, late nights to get away from all of the depression that I was feeling for not really being where I wanted to be.
It's just a Band-Aid though.
It is. And then it comes crashing down, and then you got to figure out, who are you? Why are you in this position? And are you able to get out by yourself? You know? And yeah, I've been down a lot of times in my life.
And what are some of the things that you did to get yourself up and get yourself out? Like some people do therapy, some people, you know, like what was.
Well, my big quote is it's not a quote, but it's a way of like living.
The mindset.
You have to master the art of getting up because you fall every fucking year of your life.
Yeah.
In so many different ways. Being a husband, being a dad, being a brother, being a son, you're never perfect in any aspect in your life. And you always fall, right? Fall short, fall down. So when you master the art of getting up, your life will always be okay because you're gonna know I can do this.
Yeah.
No matter what the situation is. Yeah.
Love that. No, let me ask you a question, especially now because you're a husband. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Yes.
Do you feel like you have a better balance between? I mean, but Steph's been with you for forever, so she's seen the music industry, how this shit works. But I'm pretty sure, like, when you're making an album, are you like locked in a studio? And have you found like a balance now of like how much time you could spend with your wife, how much time you spend with friends and family, and how much time you spend on music?
I still feel like I'm learning that. You know, we get into situations at times like I'll be like, hey, like, since I tat and do so much, I try when I do an album, I try to go, look, these 7 days, I'm only doing music. And I try to put a deadline on how to finish an album. And there's times where I'm in the studio, hey babe, I'm gonna be home, and I'll be home around 8. I should get you some, what do you want to eat? I'll call you on the way, whatever. Trying to be, you know, a good husband.
Yeah.
Then you get in the studio and there's energy in there that you cannot ever duplicate. You can't ever mimic. It's just energy.
Yeah.
And if it's your song and there's 30 people in there going like this, and you don't ever want to leave that because you're so scared you could never have it again.
That
And
dopamine, huh?
There's no way to call and be like, oh, what are you're so in the moment. Next thing you know, it's 5 hours later. You didn't get the food. You're on the way home really late.
Just like midnight, 1 a.m. You just left the studio.
And so that it never. I don't know. I don't know if being married has really helped me balance. I feel like the pressure has been really high. You know, I feel like it's an amazing thing when you do it, but it's never the end. It's always, everything has problems.
Yeah.
There's great days and there's bad days.
Yeah.
And it's once again going back to the past. How much do you love it and how much are you willing to fight for it?
Yeah.
Because this might not be good and you can go try the grass over there, but in 10 years it's going to be the same situation.
100%.
Not to say stick with something because time is really time. It is on how happy you are, but you always got to just sit back and go, okay, the first 3 years, there was never one argument. It was the honeymoon. It was amazing. The fourth year had some problems. You do that with anybody. It's going to be the same fucking thing.
Yep.
So it's how much do you love them and how much are you willing to fight for them? And that's what marriage really is. It's not, you're not perfect. Doesn't mean you're never going to fuck up.
Right.
It just means I believe that we're going to be together forever. Because we've shown each other that we're here for each other in all aspects.
Through all the
I love
bullshit
that.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big advocate on your success, especially if you're married or you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or they play an intricate part of you being successful. You know, like I from experience, you know, my wife was there when I told her, hey, I'm going to take out X amount of money out of the savings to open a gym. She didn't say like, well, what the fuck? She was like, do you think it's going to work? I said, I'll make sure it works.
Yeah.
It was, you know, there was no second guessing me. There was no nothing. Late nights at the gym, getting stuff together, dealing with bullshit. You know, I'd come home late. She just had the baby. She'd be there. So, like, that's why I asked, because I know, like, you and Steph on Instagram, you guys are hilarious as fuck, right? You guys have
a good time.
You guys have a good time.
Just you two alone.
Yeah,
It's funny.
but I also know, like, when cameras are off, and I always tell people, take Instagram for face value. There's some shit you guys probably have been through or going through. Do you feel like for her, and you don't have to speak for her because she's not here, but, like, she's reached a point where she kind of knows, like, okay, Tone said he's going to be home by 10. It's 2 in the morning. I'm not going to trip on it. I'm just going to go to sleep because I know his ass is in the studio feeling what you just said. Like, it's a learning curve for both of you, right? Do you feel like that's what I mean with marriage? You feel like now she's like, okay, you're married to me now, motherfucker. Like,
I think she's felt that way the day she met me.
Oh, did you?
She's like, you ain't going nowhere,
bro.
You said 8 p.m. It is 8:02. Get your ass home.
She's been very supportive. She's dealt with a whole lot because in music, it's a lot different than opening up a bit like you want to open up a bakery. That lifestyle is different than this dude trying to be a rapper. Like, there's women, there's drugs, there's late nights, there's partying, there's comments on Instagram, there's so many things that the other person has to deal with that you're really not even paying attention to because you're the one living the dream. So I think she already knows.
Yeah.
So you say you're gonna go have dinner, which you're not going to be home at 10. Don't order me something to go because that food's going to stay cold in the car. You're going to go to a bar.
Chris is laughing. I know you're probably, he's probably the biggest part of that.
Yeah. It's happened so many times.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm a butterfly when I'm out, bro.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Even like when we had you at that event at the gym, it was like you showed up, you had your little crew, but then next thing I know, you're fucking everywhere, taking pictures with everybody. Everybody was stopping you, and it was cool to see because it's like, damn, people really fuck with you in this area. I mean, in general.
Try going out with both of them. It's like every 2 seconds, can I take a picture of him and Steph both? It's like,
well, we have
it's
this
like
thing.
A game. Like, who's gonna get
we
more
have
photos?
a thing every year at the fair, and I've won.
I've won.
I've won about 99%.
Who's gonna get asked to take more photos?
So it's like, and it's not like we love it. So it's like we walk in, we go, okay, who's gonna win today?
It's so funny.
And it's basically who gets approached more. And Steph's excuse is, well, I'm a girl and they're intimidated to come up. So I keep that in mind, but I kind of win most of the time.
Is it? I mean, I know, like you said, it doesn't bother you, but have you guys been out somewhere? And I mean, because people, you can recognize you from anywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously, the tats and just your vibe in general. Do you ever be like, fuck, bro? Like, now's not the time to take a good picture with me? Or not
the picture. It's when
not the picture.
It's not the initial interaction or the picture. It's when, and it typically just happens when alcohol's involved. You know, but when it's a little too much, like, cool, let's take the drink, and then it's like, it's just a lot, you know. Yeah. So we love it. I love not the attention, I love the love. I don't consider it attention. I love the love because Without that, I wouldn't be nothing.
Yeah.
But at times, yes, in some cases, there is a very where it's like, but as a human being, like, like when it's time to just let them eat.
Boundaries,
Let them,
yeah.
it's cool. Like, but at the end of the day, I love it.
So I know we're talking like a lot about music, but obviously music is one of the things that you do, but you tattoo as well. And I'm sure you get a lot of your fans who try and like get tattooed by you too, right? How did you even start tattooing? Like, have you always been an artist? What drove you to that? Because obviously music and tattooing,
I wasn't always this crazy artist.
Okay.
I had a lot of family and friends
that
in
were
the
tattoo
business.
artists. Mm-hmm.
I love to get tatted, collect tats at a young age. I always loved the art. There was a time where the deal I was in wasn't supplying no more budget, so it left me not making money. From there, I went back to my old ways in trying to like. I was never really a good like drug dealer because I would use the drugs more than make the drugs.
The honesty is real today. Yeah.
So like, it was more. It was just. I would get it to just
dealer.
have a great time and just break even and do it all over again. So I knew I couldn't make money doing that.
Which is the wrong way.
Yes, very wrong. So, the shop manager at Ink Slingers got in a fight and broke his jaw. Okay?
And this is around the time you and Steph started dating?
Kind of started dating. And I had this convo with her because I was on a high. I was signed to a label with Warner Brothers. I was getting my car payments paid because all the cars were in my name. I had no bills. Everything was taken care of.
Right.
So when that ended, and around the time I met Steph, so I went from like, I was the guy to like, I had to be very honest with her because nowadays this is bullshit. All these fools cap.
Which, if you want to tell that story, I don't know if you want to tell that story about the time you guys went to Vegas, because I think it's kind of cool. Like, you came from nothing and like to where you are now, which is a side that I think people
we can
don't see as well, which I think is a great story.
Which is, we're going to lead into that story.
Yeah.
So I sat her down at El Torito in Covina one day and was like...
the specifics, go ahead, go.
And that's OG. People don't go there no more. But, and I had to really be honest with her. I said, you know me from music, you see the vans, you see all this going on. I just lost my deal and I'm broke as fuck. I don't know if that's going to change, but I can barely even pay for this dinner that we're at in El Torito, which is like $3, you know? And I think that honesty at that moment showed her like my true colors. So we continued to date. I wanted to make it official. I took her to Vegas, scrounged up some money, had a couple $100 on me, went to Vegas, asked her to be my girl. This is when you would actually ask a female to be your
Can we
girlfriend.
go back to those days, man?
An emoji didn't make emoji didn't make you a couple no more.
Not if you repost them. Hey,
If
put
you're
it on my
just hanging
stories.
out with them, all of a sudden you're a couple. Like,
This
you
was
gotta
like,
ask.
I want to be together with you, and I ain't gonna fuck nobody else right now. You know, that was what it meant. So, took her to Vegas, having a good time, gave her a little gift, asked her to be my girl, whatever.
Stratosphere?
I think it was the Excalibur.
Oh, Excalibur.
Yeah. So we go to dinner at the Hard Rock. It's off the strip. You got to take a little cab over there. There was no Ubers. Take a cab over there. Go to their steakhouse. And at this time, I wasn't up on game. If there wasn't a price on the side of the crab and it said market, you just never knew what the price was. It could be $12 a leg or it could be $42 a leg. You don't know.
Yeah.
So I go, yeah, babe, we'll get some crab legs. We'll get a steak. We shared it. Poop, butterflies, split it, whatever. The bill came out. It was like $240 or something. I can't recall the exact. I have like $300 on me. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, played it off. Spent it. Now I'm like, bro, how the fuck am I even going to get home? Like, gas, this, right? Anyways, we're on our way home. I'm barely making it home. I call my cousin. I'm like, bro, what could I do to have some money? I rented the car to get there because they didn't want to put miles on whatever car I had. So he goes, go to the state line thing, and he said, just play craps. I have a feeling you're gonna win.
Your cousin said this?
Yes.
All the money you have left, put it in crap.
It was like, so we put
Gamble.
it was $30 or something, $40. Steph started fucking rolling like 12 straight rolls. I ended up making like $200-300. Beautiful ride home.
Damn.
But I
That's
think
crazy.
that was because the
fucking
honesty
took a
from the
chance,
gate.
dude.
I had someone looking out for me at that point.
Yeah.
He was real. He told you didn't really have a lot of money. He wasn't faking like he was somebody. Let me bless you.
Yeah.
Damn, that's what's up. What would you have done if you would have lost all that money, that $30?
Great question.
First person I would call, my mom.
Okay. Hey, always go back to the moms,
Mom,
right? Mom, hey,
I'm
Mom.
in a major
I done
situation
fucked
here.
up.
Like you
I
wouldn't
got the
have
crab
asked
legs
her,
when I
you
knew I
would have
shouldn't
never
have.
asked her for like
I
come
don't
up with a
even know.
story.
No.
Yeah. Just call mom.
I would call mom.
No, you know what's funny is that actually happened something similar to when we went to Vegas. This girl came with no money, and then she put like $20 on. I think it was War. They actually have War,
Oh,
and she ended up
shit.
winning 500. And I was like, "That's fucking God saying we need to stay in Vegas longer."
Yeah.
because that shit was just insane. But you're going back to like the story. It kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, you know, she's a writer. I guess if you want to say that. And my wife always gets mad because I'm like, "Yo, you're a writer. You're like a doer. You know, you're like a ride or die." She's like,
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde.
yeah. She's like, well, I mean, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna ride if you keep fucking up or whatever. But this is back in the day. But you know, like I feel like your relationships with your friends, with your family, you know, kind of helped you elevate to where you're at because again, you were going through a lot of shit. So I always tell people like your circle is everything. You know, and I know now your circle has probably changed multiple times through the music, through tattooing, through now being married because you're not going out all the time and doing all the bullshit.
very
like you used to.
small.
Very small, right?
I feel as you get older, and even as you get a little more successful, you almost have to be careful.
Yeah.
Everyone's always out to get something or do something.
What can they get from you?
So if you keep those small people, you know, or the small circle in line, it's just it's less stressful, you know, because when you have 30, 40 so-called homies, like it's so easy to control this environment because there's 5 people here.
Right.
Yeah.
When there's 30, you don't know what the fuck that guy's gonna do over there, if a bottle's gonna break over, if a fight's gonna break out. You can't control that. You can control a small amount of people though.
And I feel like it's so interesting just as you grow up, right? Like at one point in your life, like you're surrounded by so many different people and you're just like, you have all these friends. And then as you get older, you just see them drop off and they just drop and they just drop. And then at the end of it all, it's still those people who have been there from the beginning that are still there. Like, fuck, you've been here for like 15 years. You never left. And maybe I left for like a little, I strayed this way with this group of friends or this way, but like you guys are still here.
But
like,
if it comes to a wedding,
right?
Who are going to be the girls in it?
You already know.
If it comes to the,
Yep.
who's going to be the guys in it? Like it will always.
When it comes to anything, who's going to still be
Who's gonna
standing
be
there
there?
no matter what?
Yeah. Exactly. Like it definitely does. It's weird that it works that way
Yeah.
because so many people come in and out. But like you said, it's like those certain ones stay. Unless
And those are the ones that are
something
valuable.
serious happened.
Of course,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like going back to kind of jumping back to the music, where are you at with that? Like, are you still? What I mean by that is, are you content with where you're at in the music industry? Are you content with what you've accomplished? Do you still like wake up in the middle? Like we were just listening to the new Drake album, right? And you were kind of going through the process in your head of probably like how you listen to music. You were telling us, you know. So do you feel like when you make music now, do you have expectations, or you just put it out there for the love and whatever happens with it?
I think I finally got to a point where
That's how it goes.
I do it because I love it. And I'm not going to put these expectations because I've gotten so much out of it. My music has driven every other venture I've ever tried.
Facts.
Anything, cannabis, micheladas, clothing.
Tattooing.
That is where it starts. So now I get to just do it because I love it. I don't have to worry about, is this gonna hit the rate? Nah, bro, I ain't tripping on that. Like, I'm able to do it now just every time I feel like doing it. I don't have to have a manager. I don't have to have this. If I wanna do a show, I'll book my own show. Cool. If I wanna do an album, I'll call up Stills and be like, let's go to the studio. I'm feeling inspired, creative. I don't have the expectations no more. That will kill you when you get to my age and my level. Like, And I've already built such the dopest little core fan base that I could ever ask for.
Yep.
You know, and it really shows because I know fools with a gang of money, millions of views. They're cool on Instagram. They got everything going on. But they cannot sell out a show in LA, Orange County. It just, because it's a different kind of fan. They like the money, they like the jewelry, they like the cars, they like the club songs. They don't have the connection. And I feel like I've been able to build that, and I feel like I respect that. And I don't think I would ever change it for anything else, you know?
So
That's
now,
more valuable, actually.
So now, like making music, do you feel more at peace? Like compared to like when you were with a label, they were probably like, "Hey, this one has to hit. This one has to hit." When you go into the studio now, is your thought process like, "I'm just gonna go with what I fucking feel and what I love," or, you know, because the pressure is probably back on. Like you said, there's no pressure now. Like, has the music been different from old tone to now?
I don't think the content has, but I think the feeling of doing it. You know, because I've always pretty much stayed very true to myself. You know, like I say, like today I can wake up, drive the Benz, everything's great, I feel rich, and go make some sort of song that makes that a rich song, a successful song. Other days I could wake up, drive the same Benz, wear the same outfit, and feel like sad as fuck, and make that type of song. So everyone likes to judge an artist based on what music they're putting out, but it's just like anybody. You wake up sad sometimes, you wake up happy some. But if you're an artist, then that's how you're supposed to record music.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I love that.
And too many people put the stigma and the category on he changed, or that's not kind of like I think good artists grow with the times and grow with your environment and mood. And I think that's kind of like what I've always done as an artist. So when I go into the studio now, it's just based on how I feel.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I you know, NXN2 just came out. Popeye had passed. Domino had passed. COVID was just kind of, you know, we're rebooting from COVID. Like there was depression all over the air.
Yep.
So at that moment, I needed to make music for myself and for my fans that gave them light for those moments. Right now, I'm doing Tat House Volume 2. It's a very Halloween spooky type of project, and it's kind of like the project when I get to flex. You know, it's like a different side of tone. So I always do little things like that, like give you a little piece of me here, a little piece of me there. You know, and I just feel like music's fun like that.
No, I love that. Speaking of COVID, we've had a lot of people on here that have actually been more successful because of COVID. Like going back to those COVID days, did you write a lot of music during COVID because you were like locked in, or were you out and about, or now just nothing changed for you then?
Compound days.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good times.
We had
during
great times during COVID. We had a compound days.
I feel like it was like an excuse to not be productive for me, because my whole life is wake up, gym, try to eat healthy, go to work, tattoo. Am I making music? No. How's that business doing? Cool. Get on the phone. It's very fucking 0 to 60. Now, COVID allowed me to stop making clothes because no one was buying. It just, the store was closed. It was an opportunity for me to shut the store down for a little bit and just tattoo and have fun. And for me, that's what it was. And I think I got so comfortable with not having those responsibilities at that time that I still haven't been making TFC clothing. I still kind of like...
That's the number one question I got on my IG. When are you bringing clothes back? But I mean, we'll touch on that after.
Yeah.
But I got like 6 messages. Is he making clothes again? When is he going to make clothes? So...
And are you going to make clothes?
I mean, we'll get into that, but I kind of like where you're going with that, because, you know, some people during COVID, man, they put on a shitload of weight. They were super depressed. They're just getting out of it.
Yeah.
You know, we've had some artists like, or some people that had clothing brands, and their clothing brand actually took off during COVID because people were at home. You had the unemployment check hitting.
People
you know
were
what
just
I mean?
spending.
People wanted to get tatted here, paying cash because the government's giving me a little extra on the side. So I'm always interested to see how people's like either lives or businesses changed during COVID, just because it was such a big part of everybody's life, you know, and people either thrived in it or they were impressed.
And there's points where a business could thrive during COVID. But then when COVID was actually over and things were getting back to normal and inflation hit, it completely did an opposite, because that's what happened with our cup. 200%. It was alcohol sales were up 200% during COVID. Everybody's drinking. Everyone's locked in a house.
Compound mode.
Compounding.
Partying every day.
Yeah. So, a gang of cups are being sold. It probably one of our highest months in sales, everything. Then the back part of it, inflation hits, where people don't really even know about inflation. People don't really get to know how COVID could affect the business.
Well, and yeah, that's true too, because it's like, well, what did you expect? The government's giving you guys all this money. What do you think's going to happen once we get out of it? And nobody was saving, everyone was spending, and now that's actually very, very true with what you're saying.
I think it was, some people, I know people who had lost their lives. I know it was such a dark time, because we were all left like not knowing anything. And some people dealt with that different ways, but that's why depression was up, suicides were up, alcoholism was up, drug use was up, because there was a lot of people that it affected, People did lose their jobs. People did lose family members. So you can never talk down and say it was fake, and who knows? I'm not one of those guys, conspiracy guys. I don't know what it is. I don't even have the...
Neither am I.
She's the biggest conspiracy theorist ever. So.
For sure. But I don't speak on things. I only speak on them what I feel about them and not facts, because I don't know the facts.
Right.
But I do know it affected people in a lot of different ways.
So
very true.
We were kind of talking, and I want to ask this because you're actually in the industry, about the whole Kanye thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I was thinking that too.
So like with the whole Kanye thing, I personally haven't looked up exactly what he said, but some people are in the impression that he did what he did to get out of his contract and stuff like that.
Yeah, and what can you say actually going into that, since you were in music and you've actually experienced
mental health?
Not mental health, but mental health, I guess, too. But you've experienced like these contracts, and you've experienced the industry, people taking advantage, or what can you say about that? Yeah, what are your thoughts on everything that he's going through?
Well, here's the thing. When you sign it, you pretty much know what you're signing.
Okay.
So whether your sales and projections went above and beyond what they said, and now you feel like you're getting taken advantage, it's still an agreement. Okay. And not all agreements are right, but at that time it was obviously right for you because you signed it. So you're talking $1 billion, $1 million. Kanye's is this a whole nother level. So I don't know that feeling of what he's dealing with, but I don't know if it's getting taken. I don't know if he's doing the right things just to avoid a contract. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not you're thinking for yourself.
Okay.
Get me?
Yeah.
And you're not really paying attention to who's being hurt while you're doing this for yourself.
Because you're just speaking out of anger.
For yourself, So everyone talks about freedom of speech, but yes, you have freedom of speech, but doesn't mean there's no consequences for your freedom of speech.
Of course. Could still be dangerous.
So there's still going to be repercussions for what you say. You could say it, but there's repercussions, and I feel like that's just what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
And I don't really know too much about everything he's going through, but
has there ever been a time where you felt like you've ever been taken advantage of?
Hell yeah.
And what were some things that you've done to get through that? Like, have you
I don't even feel like taking advantage of as far as contracts. I feel like
just in
it's
general.
People.
Because even it's not just contracts, it's other things too,
sometimes people forget what you do for them and what you've done for them.
There you go. That's so true.
That's what I say about fuck the contracts.
Right.
You sign that, that's you deal with that. It's the other things you can't control.
Yeah.
It's like when you see someone and you literally gave it all to them, the game, and it's just, they just don't even give a fuck how they got there. you know, and that's a little sad sometimes.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've dealt with that, you know.
So even now, like you said, you started back in 2003-ish, right? There was a big social media. We always kind of talk about like the cancel
MySpace
culture,
days.
right? Like, are you ever afraid to say some shit on your Instagram or in a song, afraid because you might get canceled? Like, do you kind of like tread lightly now? If you repost, because I know like Kyrie Irving got fucking literally banned
recently,
right?
yeah.
Because he reposted something. And again, I haven't looked into it, but it's almost like I'm more conscientious of like, oh shit, I want to post. Like I posted a Kanye thing. I got fucking so many DMs.
I know.
People
Same.
hating.
But at this point too, I say that as a joke too. Like whatever I post, I'm like, all right, well, let's see if we get canceled or certain things I say. But yeah, I think it also goes back to what you said earlier. Like you can say whatever you want, but there's gonna be consequences, obviously, because you still have to be mindful of what you say. Like, and that's what we said earlier. Like, hate speech is never okay, right? It doesn't matter how like you're feeling inside. Like, that's why you have to take a step back and just kind of like, you know, because it's you're right. You're gonna have to face the consequences.
But
after
when you're
for what
that
you say.
powerful, if we were sitting here and we were worth $1 billion,
Right.
and nobody's opinion, no one could hurt us. I don't give a fuck if I lost 500 million because I did something with Adidas and that's gone. Those, no one could still hurt me, right?
Right.
I wonder if we would be different.
True.
I wonder, like now we're stepping back, going, would we be different if we were worth $1 billion? Like, would I give a fuck if I hurt his feelings? Like,
I for sure would be different.
And I don't think it in like a way where it's like, well, I could like feeling invincible. I just think that because once you are at that level too, we don't really know everything he's going. It's not to say what he's saying is right, but at the same time, like there are so many people that are taking advantage of you. And I think that goes back to say what you said earlier. Like people forget what you did for them.
yeah, I think that's so true.
Yeah, I think that's how he feels with Adidas.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, like, you know, Adidas started doing knockoff of Yeezy shit.
Adidas is trash for that,
And then
honestly.
Gap started doing like knockoff the Balenciaga combo. So I would be pissed. But it goes back to, are you now as Tone, like your Instagram, your music, are you more conscientious of what you put out there because you're afraid of like upsetting the masses?
Getting
or are you
canceled.
The cancel culture is crazy, but I think if you don't talk about politics, if you stay away from religion, politics, I think
You're safe.
you're safe. Because that culture and those groups of people,
They're coming for you no matter
and
what.
I also think sexuality
Yeah.
is a major thing too.
It's true.
Yeah, we all saw Everest on TV.
So why do I even need to speak on that if it's not hurting me?
Right.
I didn't fall into the Biden, Trump. Whether Biden or Trump is the president, it's really not affecting me. Maybe you go through taxes, you go through certain things in business, but is it affecting your daily life? Did the transfer from Trump to Biden really damper your life, Amaris? Did it do anything to your life?
The transfer from it?
I think it depends on who you listen to.
It depends on what exactly you're talking about too, because you know.
I mean, shit, gas prices are higher, but is that Biden's fault?
Gas. I know the abortion. I know there's a lot of things that come with that.
But day to day is what you're saying. No, no, I agree with you.
But here's the thing: sometimes it's like maybe it's not affecting me today, but if it's not, but it could later, and that's the important thing, right? And that's why it's like, yeah, maybe it's not affecting me today, but like, what's gonna happen later?
Yeah.
If
maybe
it's
I'm
not
wrong
being
for
discussed,
not voicing
and maybe, then that's an issue because
certain things.
Because it's already, if you let this happen and let this happen in the future, it's gonna create other things. So I think
I'm
that's
more
how
worried
I
about
look
if
at
someone's beating a dog rather than who's gonna be the next president.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's wrong for me.
Right.
No,
it's not wrong for you.
I don't know if maybe I should be more vocal with politics
but if it's not for you, then
it
it's
ain't
not
for me, so I
then
stay
it
out of
doesn't
it.
affect you.
No,
then
and
it's fine,
I guess
know?
like have you? And this is the thing is like some people do like have opinions on things or they see things on news and you're like, fuck, well I want to share that, I want to say that, but I'm always like, I'm not going to put that out there. That's why I asked like if some things
100%, you're absolutely right because if you do own a business and you are trying to be somebody, everything has to be thought of now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything.
You have to go, okay, if I do this, what is going to happen after that?
Well, and we had this conversation on our last podcast because when he opened up the gym, he only had he had to think of those things too. He only had one bathroom, right? You were saying?
Yeah, so when we first opened up the gym, we had a male and female bath. It was already there prior to me, but I was like getting equipment in, building out equipment in the gym, getting the trainers acclimated, and then I had just opened the doors, and then this woman, I would say, came up to me and she's like, "Hey, do you know you have genders on your bathroom doors?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I know." She goes, "Well, every bathroom in California has to be gender neutral." And I'm like, when the fuck did this happen? I didn't even know. So she kind of like, she really came at me and kind of almost like I did it on purpose. And I told her, look, I just opened this, like literally this is day one. So I got like black spray paint and I just spray painted it over. I wanted to be like, dude, fucking chill. Like I just opened the gym. You don't know all the shit
like,
I went through.
Use whatever restroom you want to use.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But obviously, like we said, I mean, now it's on social. Now we're going to put this on the podcast. But at the time, I was like really angry because I was like, why would you attack me? Like, you know nothing about me. You know, you think I did this on purpose, but I couldn't say anything because I was just opening the business and I didn't want people to label me as like, he's a homophobe or whatever it is. But like I have a lot of things that, you know, sometimes I'm like, damn, I agree with this person, but I don't say anything because of cancel culture. And not that I'm fucking big enough to be canceled because I'm not.
Right.
But it's still, you know, there's still money to be made and things.
And just the stress of dealing with backlash is already hard.
Yeah.
You know, like when you start getting things, you know, if you said something or post and then you start getting hate and it just takes a piece of you out.
It really does,
away,
dude.
you know?
It really does. I love that you said that.
And we could say that doesn't affect me, but it does.
I love that because it's true, dude. I hear people like, oh, I post and ghost. I don't pay attention to that. I'm like, I posted some shit and I got some bad, I don't know, comments. And yeah, I don't really care because this person's on a private account. It doesn't really fuck with me. But it does take a piece.
It does.
It takes a piece, especially when you're trying to be creative and you're trying to do something or you feel some type of way about yourself and someone wants to come in and kind of like smash that. And even though I'm like, I want to say this guy lives in a basement or girl and he's a loser, it still takes some energy.
You're still thinking about something you should have never even thought of.
Exactly.
Right. No. Yeah. Okay. So we're kind of on the same page with that because I know like we've had discussions just off camera about like some of the shit that's going on, and it's like we all have different opinions. You know,
and you have to be, especially being on a podcast.
These opinions need to be talked among your peers, your family, and you can get all of these things out of you. They don't need to be
put on social media.
Right.
Half the people you don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
So what is their opinion of your thought matter to you?
And I just think I hate that we're in a place where people can't just respect the fact that like, if I believe this, these are my views, and those are your views.
That's it.
And we can still agree to disagree and still like be homies and still it's all love. Like just because I don't agree, it doesn't mean I'm against you. It doesn't mean that you have to be against me. We just have different opinions, and that's okay. But I feel like so many people are like, oh, you think that, then I can't associate with you. The same thing with COVID. Like what I hated most about it was the division, right? Like, oh, you're not vaccinated, you can't come to my wedding, you can't come to my house, you're not like. I hated that because that division was just so, I feel like it was so toxic, right? And now look at us, like, oh, we're paying people who we fired because they didn't get the shot. Like,
I
do you
saved
see what
all
I'm
those
saying?
comments.
Like,
is that weird? I saved all the people. Like, I'm going to shut you down.
Remember what you said, how you were so against me, and now look.
I saved them, bro. I screenshotted them, and people were like, "Oh, I hope people would send me comments because we had the gym open. They'd be like, "Oh, I hope your whole family gets COVID." And I was like, "Bet, I remember that." And it wasn't like it was. And it goes back to like, again, I'm in my 30s. You would never say that shit to me in my face, bro. Like if you were like, "Oh, I hope you and your wife and your daughter get COVID."
People even say that because it's like, guess what? You got the shot. Guess what? You probably got. I know so many people who got it and they got COVID like 5 times, and then they didn't even know they had it, and they were like giving it to other people. So it's like that made you know better.
Yeah.
But like just because I don't agree with getting it doesn't mean that you have to be against me or treat me like I'm like disgusting, like I'm a germ. Like don't touch me. You didn't get the shot. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, we could treat all of those topics and opinions like shoes or a color. If you like orange and I like black, why are we gonna have a fight?
Right.
It's facts.
We could still be family.
Yeah. Exactly, I agree, 100%.
But our emotions get the best of. You got to control your emotions.
Goes back to what you're saying. Yeah. Control yourself.
You have to be, and your reactions.
Yeah.
It's going back to that, because you can let those two things make me and you not be friends over some bullshit we have no control over.
So dumb, I know.
And that we really don't know the facts about.
Of course.
Yeah, none of us are doctors or
of course. That's why it's saying like we could just agree. You don't agree with it. I don't like it's cool. We're still family, like we're still friends. Like I'm still cool. Like you don't have
because
to have
everyone
those
wants to win and everyone wants to leave the convo like
And
I
have
was
an
right.
opinion. Everyone wants to have an opinion too, or feel like they stand for
It's
something.
it's everything's in nature just competitive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's competitiveness is good to a certain extent, but when
The
you're
business side of you.
yeah, the business side of me. But I mean, also I know you have it too. But when you get into like politics and religion, you're right. Like I try to stay out of that. Have my own opinions. You're never gonna win a conversation, and, and that's what I've learned.
it
You're
doesn't
never
mean
gonna
you
win.
can't say, I'm this, I'm a Christian, or
Right.
You're a Muslim, or cool, be
Right.
proud of what you are.
Of course.
But you don't need to fight with people over who's
Over it.
right or who's wrong.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's it.
Because no one is right, or I mean,
Nobody.
it's just an opinion.
Exactly.
So kind of now where you're at in your life, you do music, you do tattooing. Is there one or the other that you want to be more known for? Like moving forward in the future, like would you want to be known as like, oh, Tone's a tattoo artist, that dope ass tattoo artist, or Tone as like the artist making music?
There's some people that get tatted that didn't even know I did music. There's some people that listen to my music didn't even know I tatted. I don't think I could ever say I want to be known for one or the other, because I've spent so much time at both.
So just a creator, just an artist.
I just want to be known as
that's
just,
part of your artist umbrella.
just an artist. Just
Now, do you prefer one or the other? If you
As-
had like okay, you're gonna see
yeah.
like right now you're about to go tattoo after this podcast. Would you prefer being in the studio making music or tattooing at this stage of your life
Yeah.
right now?
I mean, in this moment,
not
right now, stage, because it changes.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I would definitely want to go to the studio right now. Because
It's so funny how his face lights
Yeah,
up when he
yeah.
talks
Because
about music. He's
that
just like, it's his,
that
Takes no
doesn't
effort from
feel
you.
like work.
Yeah.
yeah.
And tatting isn't, everyone wants to tat and go make a couple $1,000s to do a tat. But eventually, if that thing is paying your bills, it's work.
Work.
Yeah.
And now when you're doing something just for fun, it's like if you went and go play basketball at the gym right now. Do you want to go work, or do you want to go play basketball at the gym?
True.
I want to go play basketball at the gym.
So with you doing all of these things, right? Like I know everything we do in life and our end goal, like of what we do is we're here for a reason and there's a purpose for us. And everybody says like, it's not until you're doing something for others where you feel fulfilled. Do you feel fulfilled at this time in your life? Because I feel like some of the things that you're doing are for others and you're giving back, or what are some things that you do to give back?
I feel my music was one thing.
Okay.
Because you're able to touch so many more people. You could touch someone that's in Germany right now with a song.
Yeah.
So I do feel like I'm doing for people.
Okay.
But I don't feel like I'm doing enough, because eventually the music will end.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need to transition that inspiration and motivation somehow. And I would like to do some sort of like things with schooling or talking with kids, or like, I don't know. But I've always
I could see
known
you
like
doing
that's
that.
Yeah.
something that I've wanted to do.
That's actually, I could totally see you doing that. I think
Yeah.
that's great. And I think you should definitely look into that and fulfill that, because you would do great at that.
Thanks.
Do you have people now that like DM you that are like aspiring artists, either whether it be tattoo or music, that kind of like hit you up for advice? Like, hey, you know, I want to get some advice from you, because obviously you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. I think there's some times where the dad hits me up for the kid.
Oh, wow. Really?
You know, like, hey, he's making beats. Like, what do you think? Like, you think you could do something? I'd be like, I can't really get on the song. Like, I'm in a
Right,
different
right.
level, but I'll tell you how I think he should go about it. And, I try to respond damn near to everybody that sends me something. Like,
Damn.
I spend
That's great.
an hour of just literally going, okay, this question, just 1 hour of your day. You're not going to get through everything.
Yeah.
But if you just kind of set aside, especially if you're somebody that people look up to,
Right.
it's you have to.
Yeah.
You know,
like
you
that,
have
yeah.
to. Because if you ignore the messages, how are you connecting?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you go, hey, once a week I'm going to take an hour to go through the requests that are people I'm not following. Go through, hey, that dog's cool, I'll delete that. Hey, that shoe is nice. Oh, where'd you get that hat? Okay, no. Oh, hey, I just got out of rehab. What would you
Then you
answer?
respond.
Damn, that's deep. I
Yeah.
gotta,
Like-
I gotta do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
same.
mean, I get so many, and that's why I asked you this question because, again, you're at a whole nother level, but I probably get at least a week, like 3 or 4 people like, hey, dude, I want to open a gym or I want to do this. Like, could I just pick your brain? And I don't have time.
I know.
I don't have time to sit on a phone call and pick brains.
You
And
can't,
then
bro.
there's like 3 or 4 like messages deep, bro.
I know.
And so that's why I ask you, like, how do you handle that? And that's more of a selfish question for me because I'm like you, like, I like to stay connected, but sometimes I got way too much shit
But I
going
feel
on.
like there's so many people who probably want an answer to that
You
or
know
feel
what?
the same
You know
way.
what would be dope is like, if that's one of the main questions that you get, because people look at you like a gym owner
Right.
first, and a very successful one. Everyone in your gym is not only do they grind, but they look dope, like they're cool, cool ass gym, right? To put something out once a YouTube thing and go, hey guys, I've been getting a lot of messages. I know there's a lot of, people that want to become a business owner, maybe a gym, fitness. I don't know everything about business, but here's my advice to you if you want to open up a gym. Put it out there. Talk to the people.
Yeah. And just kind of umbrellas
Generalize
everything.
that.
Yeah.
Because you aren't going to be able to say the same thing to 10 people that ask the same question.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I feel you on that. And everyone's at different stages in their life. There's a guy that's like, bro, I got like 500K ready to go. Like, where do I start? Then you have a kid that's like, I'm in college and
I'm looking to do
it. And it's like, bro, you're so far away from even doing it that it's like any advice I give you is going to come in this out, So I kind of pick and choose, but like recently I've been getting a lot of it. So that's why I always ask like how you handle it. Like, what do you do? Cause you on your Instagram, you're very, you interact with everybody, like even your story, like you show everything in your life. And I always love that about you. And I feel like that's what Instagram is, right? It's kind of like a reality TV show. You kind of show your highlights, you show your family, and you're kind of uncensored. You'll show whatever the fuck makes you happy on your page, but you also take time to respond to everybody. And I always saw that, like even when I first was opening the gym, I saw that you respond to almost every person with an emoji, a like or something. So I make time now. And I tell the trainers that too. If someone's on your page commenting, take the time, like 30 minutes to go through and do that. So I'm always interested at someone at your level with such success. Like, what do you do with that? And
I think that just started before Instagram too, because I used to press up hard CDs. Every album I did, I would press up 1,000 copies out of my own pocket and I would give them away. I wouldn't sell them. I would give them, and I would literally ask, send me your address and I'll send you an album.
oh, wow.
I'd be at the fucking post office, bro, all the hours. Michelle Rodriguez, 132, whatever, Rancho, handwriting them, bro, like all day long. Sending them out, thank you, signing it. That's where I got because nobody was doing this.
Yeah.
Nobody was making them feel like, bro, I'm really talking to the artist that I really like listening to. He's sending me a CD from TFC's shop, and I did that 10 albums in a row. 10.
Jesus.
And I did it every album, bro. Like,
And that would explain why you have such
Yeah.
a fan base that just is so dedicated to
people
you.
will be like, hey, I cleaned out my drawer, send me a DM of a picture
Of the CD.
album 10 years ago.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Of my, and go, who, like, nobody has that album but those people.
Yeah.
Because they don't even exist no more CDs, you know?
That's sad, but they fucking
Yeah.
don't.
So what are some things that you see or that you hope for in the future?
With the world
with your life, in your life? Like, what are some next steps that you want to take? Music, tattooing, like what are some other things that you had a Michi cup, you're always doing something. You're never not doing anything. You always have something, some kind of project. You're always doing something. What are some things that we can maybe
Look forward to.
Look forward to seeing in the future,
Well,
or some
for
things that you
sure,
have up your sleeve? Because I know you have something.
I'm bringing back TFC.
Okay.
Hey, so all you guys
That's what I'm
asking
saying. I know
me.
you have something.
That's been a piece of my heart.
Look,
That's,
I got it tatted on me from
Yeah.
when it first happened.
Dang, she
One of
still
his first
got
tats.
it.
Which I need to touch up, actually.
we are I'm working on that to bring it out the beginning of the new year.
Nice.
I feel like it's just only right.
Yeah.
There's 600, 700 people that got this tatted on them. Like, how could they not go buy a shirt online if they have it on their body for life? I need to do that for the people that believe. That's step one. I can't really tell you what I want to be and who I am going to be, but I just want to continue to get better as a man in general. You know, not not more money. The money's gonna come. The money's gonna go.
Yeah.
It's just about learning the things, like even in my marriage, being a good like I still have so much to learn, and I just want to continue to just get better, be a better friend, be a better boss, be a better business. Like I don't know everything, even though it may seem like I do. I just share you what I have learned,
Yeah.
But I just want to get better. That's it, because the ideas are gonna come, the new ventures are gonna come. We know that. The music's gonna be there, the tatting is gonna be there. But if I could just focus on what brings me peace, I feel like then I'm gonna win. You know?
I love that.
That's already so
I mean,
valuable.
that should be, and I think it took me years to understand that about the money. Like we all work for money, but there's something to be said about having peace, to have like a purpose. Like you said, you want to help out kids, and you want to speak to some of the youth. Like I feel like when I do that and I help a trainer become successful or whatever I do, there's something that just, it adds to your soul, adds value to you, right? And so I kind of piggybacking on that, like I would say that's such a great goal to have. It's just to find a better peace, a better balance, to contribute more to the world in general, right? I love how you didn't say like, I want to make this much money, I want to do this. Your thing is like, those are going to come as long as I pursue the passion and I give back.
And you're better.
And you know what? I forgot, I did tell you, one thing I am very proud of that I am doing is I'm very involved in the paintball community.
I saw that.
And not only does that give me life, because I am a divisional player and I travel to play paintball.
Flex,
it's like
flex. Go
it's
ahead.
Like
I'm a division. He had to throw. I'm a divisional.
That shit is intense. You
Like,
literally feel like you're in a video game.
I'm going to Florida Wednesday to go play the World Cup. And,
wow, that's dope.
There's a World Cup for paintball.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Russia.
These people take it
it's
serious.
unbelievable, bro. Like,
Is that why you're in such good shape right now? Like, are you preparing for that? Because you're in good shape right now, dude.
I'm not buff like you, but I mean,
buff isn't big.
I could run.
Yeah.
I got stamina.
Yeah.
I feel like pretty light on my feet. That's one big reason why I stay active, is because of the sport. You
Paintball.
have to be.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are going to the World Cup.
I do have a kids team.
Nice.
And I have 12, 13-year-old kids that I coach and that are a part of my organization.
That's amazing.
What is it called? The organization?
LA Vibe Paintball.
LA Vibe Paintball.
And then we have a paintball company called Poison Paintball.
That's dope.
And we make all the jerseys. We do so many things for the paintball community that nobody in the regular world knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, coaching these kids and keeping them out of trouble and showing them a new sport. When I see them play, it's just like it makes me feel like a dad, even though I'm not. And
that's fulfillment.
it's unbelievable,
Yeah.
the feeling. I could imagine being a real father or a mom and seeing their kid play baseball and football and being so proud, because I put in so much time with the kids that their like joy comes right back onto me.
I love that.
So that's something I'm doing right now with the kids in paintball.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have my boy Ziggy here that wants to get tattooed by you. Well, I would say I will pay for your tattoo if you get shot with a paintball gun. You down?
You're gonna get shot by a paintball gun. That shit hurts so bad.
So after this, let's set a date where you bring the paintball gun. He'll get shot, and I'll pay for his tattoo.
And then we
This guy,
tap.
let me just tell you, there was this time. It was it was a holiday. Like we all were at our friend's house. It was at Hershey's old spot, and he was so drunk. He let Steph shoot him.
Oh yeah, I pulled
in
my
the
pants
ass,
down.
Pulled his pants down, bare ass, and Steph just went to
right in the middle of my cheek, bro. I was like,
I have the video somewhere. That shit was just
Dude, I've done paintball like 2 times in my life.
ripped your
and
asshole,
both times,
literally.
I left with the biggest bruises fucking ever. It's Corona. What is it called? Is SC Village? We went out there. We played one time, and then some guys like, "Hey, you want to play against us?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool." But we rented guns. These fools had bro. It was by the time
there's
no, they shot the fuck out of us.
It's
by the
like,
time,
hey, bro,
You
you want to
gotta see
race?
his
You're on a bicycle and he's on a motorcycle.
So I'm kind of like jaded from paintball because of that. Because by the time they said go, they were around the corner on us, and they
Yeah.
just shot, ta, 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 ta. But they had double. I'm like, that's not even fair, dude. So
When I walked into
I
your
gotta do it again with you.
When I walked into his paintball room, I felt like, you know the scene in Step Brothers where he's like, "Don't touch my drums, my drum set." That part. When I walk into his paintball room, there's just so many. It's like helmets, the glasses of this. Like you just want to put it, which we have before, put it on. But like it's like I feel like he's gonna come in and be like, "You can't touch it. Don't touch my drum set."
Have you
Like
done paintball
everything
before?
is like, oh, yeah, I
You've
have.
done it?
You know what we should do?
I have done.
We
paintball.
should set up, because my season's about to be over. Now it's going to be able to just be fun. We should just set up like a,
Well,
like a
Paintball is
self-made
fun. No,
TFC
that-
little.
that's what I was gonna say,
You know,
'cause
and
I
I'll
have-
rent
I have-
out the spot.
We should do it.
Let me know, because I have two, and we actually, it's so fucking funny you said that. We were just talking about that. We do something every year. Like I have like I ran out of a club we're gonna do for Christmas this year, but someone's like, why don't we do paintball so everyone gets their fucking? But I have two gyms, so let me know, like for real.
And I'll
let's-
help coordinate this whole
Let's set
thing.
it up, and yeah,
I'm
dude, we'll do
there.
a
It will
paintball
be so fun.
for some.
Oh, it's so much fun. Have
Oh,
you
yeah.
never done paintballing before?
No, I've done it twice,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
got like I had to rent a gun, so you'd shoot and it would go this way because they were rented guns.
Oh,
so like
yeah.
these guys had like one guy had like a sniper one, or so he was shooting fucking us like when we just peeked our head out, boom. I was like, that's not
that
fair.
shit
So
hurts to get hit
I'll
by.
show
Let's
you
do it.
what I,
Let's do
yeah,
it.
It's not
yeah,
even
we'll
going to
do
be
it.
fair to play with you, but it's fine. Like
no, he'll be like a coach, and then we'll have like two
so funny when you go
coaches.
there. I felt cool. It's like the Dorito, the freaking
Yeah.
like all the
'Cause
verbiage is
our,
like
our version of competitive paintball isn't what the world thinks. It's not the trees and the bushes and the houses and the
It's the
broken
inflatable-
cars.
it's the
It's the
inflatable.
inflatable,
Yeah.
and it's
And the Doritos.
150 by 150 feet. So you're very close.
And you guys actually have like plans, because that's what I noticed when
It's
we play those
5
guys.
on 5 like basketball.
Yeah.
And you know where you're going, what the bunkers are called. You have a coach. Like, this is next level.
All right, let's set,
they're,
let's,
they're
let's
like
set
on the
that
ground.
up.
You feel like you're watching like a military war. Like it's
Well, that's what it is,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, it's
In
dope.
essence,
It's
yeah.
fun. It's fun actually.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're gonna set
to
that
watch.
up. We're gonna get you shot in the ass. I'm
Yeah.
just
Oh, I
I'm
gotta
up in the
be there.
ante, and then I'll get you tattooed, and then we'll set up a gym one with you guys as well.
But besides paintball, I do feel everybody does need something that takes them out of reality.
Yeah.
Okay, and
That's
this is
good.
just going to be advice for those that are just living.
Yeah.
If you don't find time for yourself, you'll lose yourself. So you need to find things that make you feel good inside that has nothing to do with money, your relationship, something that you just care about. You can go rock climbing. You can go horseback riding.
And is that paintball for you?
And for me, that's that. And I feel like everybody needs that, you know?
Yeah, that's good.
In
No,
this
that's
world.
true. That's true. Yeah, because you can't be in the rat race 24/7 without sometime just shutting down.
Yeah, and 90% of the people ask them, what do you do for fun, for yourself? Maybe a video game?
Yeah.
But like, most people haven't found that.
Yeah.
Something like, some friends go, bro, I go to the gym and play basketball. That lets everything out. They don't think about nothing, you know? But people need to really start thinking about doing things for themselves.
An escape to just
Do something, you know?
No, 100%.
I agree. I love that.
But as always, we appreciate you coming down. You tattoo, you're making music. I want you to leave the people with something. I don't want to say inspirational or clickbaity, but what advice would you give someone that's either aspiring to open a business, whether it be tattoo, music, or whatever it is that kind of helped you continue to elevate?
Ignore the doubters. Believe in yourself is number one. Don't give up and be yourself. Because if you're not yourself, then everyone's gonna know that you're doing this for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So if you do some of those things I just said, I think you're gonna be A1.
100%. Thank you. Toast.
Yes. Thank you. Cheers.
Gotta
Toast
go
to
work
future.
right now.
Yeah, you got to go to work. Future paintball. But we, as always, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tune in to see Ziggy get shot in the ass with a paintball soon. Until then, peace.
For the paintball tournament.